Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Put that dog on the Ed Sullivan Show. Whimsy,
thinking.
We're old enough to get that joke. Remember when
Yes.
people used to say that about their pets? We got to put that dog on the Sullivan Show. I think they even used that on I Love Lucy once. But that really carbon dates us.
Scary, isn't it?
I guess.
How have you been, my love? How have you
I've been doing pretty good. I was just thinking we've got to get Mila and Sasha up to speed so they can sing in the openings, you know. But I've been doing good. How have you been doing, Whimsy?
I'm doing really well. I'm feeling a little lazy. I'm feeling that fall vibe where the weather is definitely getting colder here in Portland, Oregon. Thank you everyone for being here. Be sure and like, share, subscribe if you haven't had a chance to do so yet. Yeah, I'm here in Portland and it's a pretty peaceful town. I don't know why they sent people here.
Well, that's going to be a whole topic probably in a little bit in the show. But I just want to say first and foremost, you know, I am one of the rare people. I don't especially enjoy really hot, muggy summer weather. And to me, it often feels like an anxiety attack. And when autumn comes in, I feel so calm and so peaceful. It's just something about this time of year. And I wonder, Whimsy, if it could also have to do with the days getting shorter and we're making more melatonin in our brains.
Yeah.
I find I sleep a lot better.
We're kind of going into our hibernation, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
We are indeed. Okay, so if you haven't caught up in the news yet, it looks like Trump has won the war against dangerous Portland, Oregon.
Oh, yeah. All those people in an inflatable
National
frog
Guard
costume.
is coming. Yes, the Supreme Court weighs in and allows for the deployment, both in Portland and in Chicago. Any feelings about this, Joe?
Well, this comes, you know, what's happening in Portland is only 2 days after Chicago. And, you know, it just astounds me how the courts are just giving more and more power to Trump as he is obviously testing the limits of how far he can take the presidency. He clearly wants to militarize the cities. I'm sure if he gets his way as the dictator he hopes to be, he wants to turn the military on us individually. I pray to God that doesn't happen, but this is like he's setting the stage for this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And what do you think the end goal is here? Because I live in Portland and I don't think it's a very dangerous town. So
what
is he trying to do here? What's the end goal here?
Well, he's trying to manufacture crises that don't exist. Is that correct? Crises or crises?
But to do what? To have a permanent? Do you think to have a permanent military presence in those states he has issue with?
Absolutely. Trump wants to test the limits of being commander in chief to see how far he can use that against the individual people. You got to remember, we've had that. Los Angeles, I think, was one of the first cities. I think Mayor Bass even said we're being used as a test case. when he started sending the National Guard here and the Army. And, and the late night comedians had a field day where they'd show like, strip malls and things like that where nothing was clearly going on. And they're here, these Army people. And I saw like where you are in Portland, the people in their costumes, like their inflatable frog costumes and stuff, and purposely just like thumbing their noses at these people and just pointing out the absurdity of all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chicago, and also even in New York. I saw today, this was announced like 2 hours ago in Manhattan on Canal Street. ICE has started invading Canal Street because that's where a lot of, food stands and things are, fruit vendors, they're easy targets. It's like here in Los Angeles, they go after the vendors, they go after, a lot of immigrants will be in like the Home Depot parking lot, wanting to get work. So it's obvious easy targets.
They don't really know what they're doing. And they, they're not protecting us. It's just, violence and for violence sake.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Well, let's go ahead and turn the camera around. Why don't you go ahead and say hi to everybody here? Tell us who's here. Are they having tacos with us? Are they having margaritas?
One of these days, we have to have a plate of tacos in front of us while we're doing
I was in such a lonely mood missing you. I texted you. I was like, should I get on the plane right now and come to LA?
Oh, right now?
Yeah, but then I looked at the
We could have done the show today.
Yeah, but then I thought, that's expensive. I think that this feeling will pass. But who's here with us today?
Well, let's see who's here with us today. Yeah, I got your text and I even said, when are you coming down? I didn't know you meant now.
I missed my friends in LA.
Oh, I wish you had come. Well, maybe later. Maybe the feeling won't pass. But anyway, we have my great friend here, Joyce Petrus.
Hi,
Joyce. Glad to have you here. Fran Stevenson, Gigi Pardo Lord.
Hi, Gigi.
Eleanor Wittering, Lisa Ress.
Hi, Fran.
Hey, Heather, with some hearts after that name. Patricia Skinner, Sally Joe, Rockin' Pony Lady. Like that.
Did you get to Eleanor? Hi, Eleanor.
Did I get to Eleanor?
I think it skipped Eleanor there.
I am so sorry. I apologize. Trying to go through these names as best I can, not repeat names, but I don't mean to eliminate you either. Our wonderful Joel Tilson, our floor director. Hey, Joel. And there's Eleanor below Joel.
Right. Awesome. Don't want to miss anybody.
Hello. No, we don't. Brenda Breakstraw. Let's see. I'm trying to go past some names. Oh, look. Sally Joe donated $10.
Oh, thank you, Sally Joe. That was very kind of you.
Thank you. Renee Ament. Let's see. Forgive me. I'm trying to find names I haven't read yet. Did I read it? Intuitive Kathy. Hi, Intuitive Kathy. K Travel Tarot. Let's see.
Well, we'll keep.
Here's a great name, Queenie the Genie.
Ooh, I like that. I'm a queen.
Yeah, so you interrupted
I'm a bit of a djinn.
I was watching Annie Hall. Oh my God! Because we were talking about how much we love Diane Keaton. When I have the time to do this, I want to do like a little festival of her movies. There are so many films like
Annie Hall
I would love to see again. I am old enough.
Talented.
I'm old enough. I was in high school and I went to see Annie Hall in the movie theater, and I felt so sophisticated watching a movie like that.
How did you like it?
I loved it.
One of my favorite movies.
Oh, me too. Me too.
It's a great love story. He was saying, I don't really know why we broke up. Like, why would you break up with someone like that? He was saying posthumously, it's like, we just moved away and went off and did our own separate things. But it was like, what a great person she was. Listen. Go ahead. I was going to introduce the book of the month, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. And what?
I was going to say, speaking of entertainment and all of that good stuff, have you had a chance to get the book? It looks like you have. What are you thinking, Chucky Poo? What do you think?
I have only gotten a little bit into it. I know we're going to do the author interview in November, so I have a little bit of time. But you can see as it's already getting dog-eared, I am carrying it around and reading
That
it.
is a one. I think that's
Really
the
good.
ultimate compliment to the writer. So the book of the month, as you know, we promote independent writers. If you have written and published independently and you need a little bit of traction, think about sending Chuck and me your book. You can send it to care of Dr. Whimsy Anderson at 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon 97201. And maybe your book will appear in the Taco Tuesdays Book of the Month Club. And of course, this month's selection is Atlantis Falling by the amazing Adam Gabriel Steinmetz, about the fall of a mythical land called Atlantis. What are you thinking, Chuck? Is it good? Do you like it?
It's good. It's good thus far. The little bit I've read, I've been carrying it around, just sneaking a few pages here and there. But it's a topic you and I both are already fascinated with. The notion of Atlantis. Did it really exist? Did we have lifetimes there? I think you and I did.
And is that the flood? You know, these flood stories are based on real places. You know, a lot of places have gone underwater over the years.
Oh my goodness. All you have to look at all of the areas, like I'm thinking offhand, like ancient Alexandria, how to visit things like Cleopatra's castle or whatever you called it. You've got to scuba dive to go down there. It's all underwater now.
Isn't that crazy how things go underwater?
Is that
all right?
Or a palace? That was a better word for it.
Well, speaking of palaces, it looks like a certain somebody is in trouble, according to the news. This was one of the leading questions we got, Chucky Poo, in our email is, please talk about Prince Andrew. You guys used to talk about the royals, and then why just stop? We stopped because there wasn't really a lot of royal news, but it looks like Prince Andrew is back in the news. He's been stripped of many of his titles. It would have to be an act of Parliament to strip him of the title of
to
Prince.
Officially strip him.
You want to talk about this?
Well, I know that his titles, he has agreed to, quote, no longer use his titles. He hasn't actually been stripped of them because, as you just said, it would require an act of Parliament to do that. I think they did that with Princess Diana. I think Parliament did strip her titles, unless I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me out there.
Yes, she did.
Prince Andrew did this voluntarily, or again, that could be quote unquote voluntarily. I think he was forced into it by King Charles and Prince William. But I think the only title he has left right now is Prince. And the only reason that can't be taken away, because you can't deny the fact he is the biological son of a queen. So by that very fact, he is a prince, and you can't take that away. But he has been sufficiently shamed. I mean, I know wasn't it about 5 years ago, the Queen took away a number of his titles when he had to go testify. And he had to testify in New York, I think. And she said, if you're going to do this, it's going to be as a private citizen and not as a royal. So he already has been pretty much demoted, if that's a correct way of saying it, for quite a while, but this just finishes it off.
Do you think that he considers the people he did these things to people? Do you think that that's ultimately the problem with having a royal family, is that if somebody's up there who's down here, are we led to believe that some people are more equal than others? Does that somehow make it okay to do horrible, atrocious things to other people's children?
Well, and certainly not justifying that in any way, shape, or form, but I think perhaps there is a bit of that entitled attitude. Am I saying her name correctly? Virginia Jeffrey? Is that how you say her last name?
Joffrey, is that right?
Jeffrey. Her book is, I think, about to come out, or it may have come out, and there are some things in there about Prince Andrew and how he felt entitled to have sex with her. Those were her very words. He felt entitled. And this even goes back to things we've been talking about, Diddy and other celebrities who are in power who've abused that. It's like they make their own rules. They're above everyone else. And of course, we're seeing these very people get brought down to earth, crashing down to earth pretty fast.
Wonder if this makes it larger, does it? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
does.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that helps. So basically what she said in as you know, she did publish posthumous was her autobiography, and
Yeah.
she spoke about Andrew feeling that he was entitled to do these things.
Mhm.
Because I am born a prince, I get to do things to other people's children.
Yeah. Yeah.
The law didn't apply to Andrew. This was Andrew's belief system.
Yeah,
Any
that
feelings
was.
about that, sweetie?
Well, and this happened what, around the year 2000 or so. At that time, Andrew was still fairly popular. He was in his, shall we say, in his full power, and probably that was the thinking. The royal family has gone through a lot in the last 20 years, a lot of transformation. They've been, especially since the Queen has died. She was really the glue that was holding it together. Now I think we're watching it just disintegrate right now.
Right,
Uh,
and you look at Prince William, and he says he's going to reform, and you look at the shrinking balcony during the trooping of the colors, where it used to be when the Queen was there, it would be her, it would be all of her children, all of her grandchildren, all the
yeah,
wives. I mean, that was one packed thing. And I had done a remote view when the Queen was still alive, and I had connected with Scotland Yard and security, and they said it was a logistical nightmare because for that one photo op where all the royals are on the balcony at the same time, it is a horrifically complicated security measure issues.
Oh, I was just thinking
And I
that.
was fascinated as I went into the trance state of them explaining that you had to have a no-fly zone and the
Yeah,
perimeters. Everything had to be in place. They had snipers on the roof, and how much stuff the audience didn't see so that they could have that 5
yeah,
10-minute showing.
yeah.
And now I mean, and so I approached it as a remote viewer trying to, I used a technique called HCRV, which is actually the oldest form of remote viewing. It's when you latch on or attach to, through compassion and empathy, the thoughts of an individual around this. So I get in through the emotions.
Mhm.
But it was just fascinating for me as the fly on the wall, as the remote viewer, to have my higher self connect with the security. And I had never thought about it prior to that remote view, that it was really because
Yeah.
you have all the generations that will be kings sitting on one
Right,
balcony.
right. I think many of us have never thought about it because it was always carried out so seamlessly, like out of camera range. Like you didn't see the fact that it was a no-fly zone, that there were snipers on the roof and so forth. All you saw was the wonderful
Right.
picture opportunity of the whole royal family out on the balcony. And of course, once upon a time, that wasn't such a big deal, when the royal family would come out like that. But now in this era with all the terrorists, that's a terrorist dream.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
real
Well,
security nightmare.
I even think about like here in Hollywood when they have the Oscars, and you may remember this, Whimsy, when you used to live here, how they have to close off about 3 blocks of Hollywood Boulevard, and they have to weld manhole covers shut, remove mailboxes, and they have snipers walking on top of the buildings
Crazy.
because you've got all of those A-list people
It takes
gathered together in one building.
Look at John F. Kennedy Jr. It took one error. They didn't have people securing the roofs. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
And the consequences when you just are it just takes one time being lapsed to have something like that happen.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't want to change subjects, but that's almost like what happened in the Louvre. It was a one-time security lapse.
About that next.
Yeah, I figured we would do that next, but
yeah,
that was like a
go ahead and
freak
explain
occurrence
to the audience what happened, and then I'll pull up the picture.
Well, as I understand it, it was considered an organized crime. It was just so smoothly carried out. These people came with their own ladder and their own tools, and they knew exactly what window to go into, and they were able to cut through, get in. They stole all of these magnificent jewels that were under glass cases. I think it was estimated $102 million worth in actual value for the materials. Now, the historical sentimental value is priceless, but they were in there and they were out in 3.5 minutes. And then they went down, got on scooters, and just went off. It was so well planned, except for one thing. They did drop one of the crowns on the sidewalk, and I understand it was severely damaged. That's very unfortunate. But that was the only mishap. But I was just thinking it was just like this one security lapse. Yeah, I mean, you've been to the Louvre, haven't you, Whimsy?
Oh, yes, a couple times.
Me too, many times. And, they must have some of the tightest security in the world. I would hope to believe that, but boy.
Yeah, and the longest lines, too. So if you buy your tickets in advance, it's the way to go. But it looks like one of the security guards was involved, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they have speculated it could have been an inside job.
Wow.
It's all under investigation, but you can be sure they're going to just be going after every nook and cranny, to figure out what has happened here, and then to try to prevent this from happening again. And it's also a race against the clock, because there's a great concern. Obviously they can't just take these jewels as they are and try to sell them. That would be like trying to sell the Mona Lisa or something. You can't do it. But what they can do is take all the jewels out and melt down the gold. And that's the concern. And that could have even been done already, that these treasures are lost forever.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it looks like we have a lot of people asking questions. So we'll go ahead. We're going to do the empath prayer, and then we will blitz away. I know Chuck will happily grab his cards and pendulum, and so it's a pendulum, yes. And
yes, pendulum.
Yes, if you haven't had a chance to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, I know Chuck would really appreciate it as we march boldly towards 100,000 subscribers. So please give us your name or the name of someone you want us to pray for. And we will include them in our prayers today as we begin the empath prayer. Anything you want to say, Chuck, before we do the prayer?
No, let's go ahead and do it. I was just here straightening some stuff up here, my cards, my pendulum, and everything. Also making sure my phone was turned off.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen.
Amen.
And for those of you today who are seeking a healing for yourselves and for those you love, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, collectively, we say, Amen, amen, amen. May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed. I'm liking it. Well, let's go into it. Lisa Ray.
All right. I had a thought. What if it's Jared Kushner who is brokering and profiting from your Gaza rebuild plan? Oh, that strikes a nerve, doesn't it, Whimsy? Through Saudi money, and then, of course, to the Trump gypsy grifter family. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, Trump gypsy grifter family. Yeah.
Of course, it's all about money. It's all about money.
Trade rules, money.
But Elon Musk wanted a Marshall Plan because Elon Musk is a huge war buff, and he likes listening to he and Grimes. They like to lie in bed and at night and listen to podcasts about the wars.
Yeah.
And he was fascinated by the Marshall Plan.
Yeah.
And the idea that you could turn an arch enemy into an ally through a series of actions focused on unity through the Marshall Plan that took place in Japan. So he was looking, so it was actually Elon Musk that boistered, in a moment of sanity, I would say, boistered the Oasis one, because it was based on kindness over conflict and inclusion. Yeah. We want to include as many Gazans in Israeli life and vice versa. We want a unified open border two separate states, but also unity where they can come back and forth. And that can only happen through integration. So that's what Elon was looking at. Jared Kushner's going to benefit financially, but ultimately anybody who wants peace would be wanting something like that.
You've even said that before on previous shows.
I put it through the computer and I tried to ask the computer, what did Trump throw out? Because he went with 80 to 85% of my plan, and then Trump's plan threw out 15% of my stuff. And the stuff he threw out was unity, integration, the Bedouin culture.
Just about anything humanitarian.
Right. So we'll see. I
didn't realize that Musk had a fascination with the Marshall Plan, because I immediately think back to many years ago reading the book about Harry Truman, Plain Speaking, where he addressed that and said much of what you said. It was about taking our one-time enemies and becoming friends with them, and about the humanitarianism of it.
Yeah. So when he was in Israel, he had said he wanted to fund a Marshall Plan, based on kindness over confrontation.
I like that.
And kindness and compassion, is that so? The Oasis one was called kindness over confrontation, so that was what got it involved.
Well, this is a different kind of question. Weeks ago, I brought home what I thought were fresh strawberries. They spoiled overnight, and I've had a fruit fly infestation since. Any suggestions, Dr. Anderson?
Some mold. It's called trick, and it can get in. So some trick mold got in. Most likely it got wet. The batch got wet and warm, so it can ferment the trick, which is why it's important to clean the strawberries, shake off any excess water, and cut them, soak them in some apple cider vinegar to get rid of the bugs and the pesticides, or baking soda. Either one works.
Really?
And then rinse it really good. Make sure to get the water off, and then slice them, and put it in the freezer. And you might be able to save money on frozen, depending if you're, compare what time of the season it is, because you might be able to get a pound for like $2-3, and the frozen's going to be, $6. So you just see whatever's cheapest. In terms of fruit flies, I just put up tape when I had a fruit fly infestation.
I think we've all had it happen to us. Especially if you leave bananas out, something like that. But that's interesting. I had heard that about apple cider vinegar. I would think also freezing the fruit would kill the eggs of the insects.
So you want to get rid of the pesticides.
For sure.
So I always rinse mine in baking soda. You can't always afford organics. Let's be realistic, people. Everything's through the roof. We're doing the best. People are doing
Isn't it a shame?
You're doing the best you can to hold on. So just soak it in vinegar, apple cider vinegar, a couple tablespoons, rinse it, and then shake off as much of the water as you can. Let it drip through the colander. Peel it. I take off the stem and slice it in half, and I put it in the freezer.
While we're on the topic, I know from my own experience, peppermint oil is really good for ants. If you ever have a problem, take a pump bottle with some, water, and just put several drops of peppermint oil in there and spray where the ants are. It's really effective.
Cool. I am seeing the 230 milliliter Trump is bullying the Department of Justice to be his plan to pay for the $250 million ballroom. What do you think about the ballroom?
Well, oh God, where do we even start with the ballroom? I mean, it's the height of vulgarity, for one thing. During the government shutdown, it was just announced on the news today that funding for SNAP benefits, if the government doesn't reopen, there's going to be no money for that. There are going to be families, there's going to be children who can't get food. There are thousands of people not getting their paychecks right now. So it's the height of vulgarity. But Trump, of course, had promised that the existing White House structure would not be affected in any way, shape, or form. Like we can believe anything that comes out of his mouth. I'm sure everybody by now has seen the news coverage, the pictures of the wrecking ball tearing away at the east wing of the White House.
Isn't that symbolic?
Of course it's symbolic. I mean, it's such an obvious metaphor. It's almost absurd to even address it as a metaphor, but what's wrecking ball to the White House.
What's Trump's success right now? What is he at? 35%? What is his?
It's very, very low. It was, when I prepare for the show, I always listen to Heather Cox Richardson, David Pakman, and others, Mary Trump. I forget who said it, but apparently his approval rating has gone down even lower. So it's like Trump is just in such defiance. He's gonna, gosh darn it, I'm gonna build my gold ballroom, and I don't care. And it's like I think it was Mary Trump who said he takes delight. Remember, she said he takes delight in hurting people. He also takes delight in destroying things. He likes to annihilate things. So this action of taking a wrecking ball to the White House itself, and he did this, of course, without any approval. I don't know what the channels are. I think it has to go through Congress,
right?
The historical societies. I mean, even like when the Truman balcony was built, little things like that. It took like 2 years to get the approval, and here he's ripping down the whole east wing of the White House. What it looks like. To put in this ballroom.
Wrong with that.
Well, there's something seriously wrong. And I had heard a while back, a lot of this was just to placate Trump, to keep him busy, because his whole thing is real estate. He loves like putting up new buildings, tearing things down, redecorating the Oval Office and all that god awful Home Depot spray painted gold polyurethane. And now this project is this ballroom. Nobody wants.
Pull one card. Let's pull one card on the ballroom. Just one on the ballroom.
Well, I just reached over and pulled off the top. I got shadow. It's like no crap, no shadow. There's just a lot of shadow on this. Trump is trying desperately to divert us, the Epstein files, so forth. This is his defiance. This is his corrupted mind. The star.
Yeah, what's interesting?
You get the star, I get the shadow. That's interesting.
Well, I think it's interesting that he's trying to turn it into a Vegas nightclub.
Well, some are saying he's.
Are we going to have the glow? Are we going to have the disco lamp in the middle?
Yeah. Well, some have said he's trying.
We don't have the money to pay for it, by the way.
No, of course we don't. But some are saying he's trying to replicate Mar-a-Lago. He's trying to create another resort because he doesn't plan to leave the White House, apparently.
Okay, did Putin cancel the summit in Hungary due to legal or personal safety fears? All right, let's pull a couple cards on Putin canceling the Hungarian summit. I'd be afraid. I'd be afraid if I knew what the math says. The math says they got to take him out.
Yeah.
Right? So he knows the math. If we know the math, don't you think that Putin knows what they're up to, because we've seen the math. So if we've seen the math, don't you think that NATO's seen the math?
Yeah, I'm sure that. I'm just
if NATO has seen the math, then hasn't Putin seen the math?
Of course
you see where I'm going with this? So, I don't know, Chuck. Why don't you weigh in? Give me your.
Well, I just pulled. 3 cards jumped out of the deck, and the first part is kind of decisions. He's in a lot of denial, but sometimes you see me go, oh, I'm surprised. I got survival card. Survival. Doesn't that tie in with what you were just talking about? His concerns, like this isn't safe for him. He could be assassinated. It's about his survival. Of course, that could also be referring to the survival of just his leadership and his government.
Well, this is the math, right?
Yeah.
So this is just math. This is just what would you happen if you sat with a computer for a couple of days and you said to the computer, show us the math. What do we have to do so that the least number of people will die? And the math showed that they're going to put their hands on Putin. Mm-hmm. I figured this out with a computer. Yeah. So if I figured this out after 72 hours, do you think the best computers in the world with the Department of War, NATO, etc. Of course they have the same numbers.
Of course they do.
That's why we got to ceasefire. Then they did the exchange of hostages with Hamas. And now at this phase, Hamas is going around shooting everybody. That's why you send Hamas to a host country. So which host country? Indonesia is going to take them, Sudan, Qatar, but they can't stay. And then you have the Abraham Accords rebuild. But the point is that look how close we are to Putin being taken out.
Yeah. And we've been saying that for quite a while. It's almost like
this is not psychics, by the way. This is my real research, because I do publish as an actual researcher. But this was some research I did. I couldn't sleep and I was playing with the numbers, and I spent about 72 hours organizing this, and then I sent it to the IDF. And then I sent it to Joe Biden as well. And then Joe Biden adopted the first 3. So the U.S. State Department data came up the same as me. The IDF came up the same as me, because we all went with the same 3. So if they all went with the same 3, I can't imagine they would deviate, excuse me, on 4. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And this was the other thing is that this is nonpartisan, because Joe Biden adopted the first 3. That was when people first found out of it, and they said, is it Biden's plan or is it Israel's plan? Well, it's both of ours. And that's because it was just based on math.
Yeah. The other thing I was wondering about the meeting being canceled, do you think that could have anything to do with the Ukraine launching missiles on Moscow?
I think that
today.
I think Putin is not long for this world, and he knows it.
Yeah. That was interesting, because you sent me the piece on this, and I did find. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You're still reading parts.
No, I got fighting. The unity is broken. This is all about the truth coming out, spies. He knows we're coming after him. And more fighting lay ahead. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. But yeah, you sent me the piece about how Ukraine is sending missiles to Moscow right now. And what intrigued me, I did find some other internet stories, but I watched the national news. I watched the ABC National News live stream at 3:30 today. They made no mention of it whatsoever. And I wonder why.
I have no idea.
A story that important? Nothing was said about it. I wouldn't have known about it if you hadn't told me beforehand. But I immediately thought there has to be a connection with why Putin's canceling the meeting. But I think we also found that a lot of it has to do with fearing for his own survival.
I would be if I had if I saw those, if I saw that was going around NATO, IDF, the United States State Department, Biden, and now Trump had that data, and 4th on the list, take out Whimsy.
No.
But I mean, how would you feel if you knew that was circulating around the intelligence agencies? Would you feel safe?
No, I wouldn't feel too safe.
Yeah.
No, we can't take out our Whimsy. Not for anything.
I'm just putting myself in Putin's shoes, how he would feel.
I know. Joel Tilson, peace talks with Russia has collapsed today. What next between Putin and
we got to take him out? That's what, people trying to avoid phase 4. Everybody adopted phase 3. No one's talking about phase 4. The math is the math. It's not even, I didn't do this, by the way. This has nothing to do with me. This was just that I was bored one evening.
You bored?
Well, I was working on my thesis.
You're always working on
I do have a PhD thesis. I just need to get a board together. But that's what happened. So what did I want to say on that? So there's no hope. Is there hope? There's no hope for Putin is what I'm trying to say.
No. Frankly, or Trump. It's very interesting. It's like the two men are going to be taken out around the same time, it seems, like around the end of this year.
Well, yes.
We've been saying that about Trump, and I don't know if you have had predictions about Putin when this will happen. We've pretty much agreed he'll just be exiled to a castle in Siberia or something.
After we see the exile of Hamas, it's most likely. And that's happening now, which is either they disarm or it's going to be bloody, because they have nothing to protect themselves now. They can use the Gazan people as human shields. They've certainly killed
Mhm.
enough of them, but Hamas has to go. They can't stay. And so it could get really bloody in Gaza getting them out of there. Either get on the plane and leave, or we will take you out.
Oh,
And just having to separate the civilians, because these fruitcakes are using Gazans as they're trapping them inside their building. They can't get out. Get us out of here. Get us out of here. And then they're firing on top of the buildings. And then the Israelis are firing at them. And these people are like trapped. So just Israel and the United States and the Abraham Accords trying to separate civilians. We're not with them. We don't want to have anything to do with this. Getting them away from the wingnut Hamas when they take out Hamas and her proxies, because they also have other groups like Islamic Jihad there. But the point is that the peaceful Gazans are literally it's a nation held hostage by terrorists.
yeah.
That's how you have to look at it. And some are gung ho. Some of the people in Gaza are completely brainwashed in the cult. It's like, we will die and go to heaven. And then you have regular people in Gaza like, oh my God, I'm in a hellhole. Get me out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So that selection process is it's very scary.
It is.
Because you want to get as many innocent people out of the way as possible, because Hamas is going down, and then Putin is going down next.
Yeah.
He's ready to go next.
We were even
on the verge of falling now.
Yeah.
So how nervous would you be if you were Putin?
He has every reason to be nervous. But we were just talking about this last week on one of the shows we did about how fragile the ceasefire was going to be. And I even got that vision of like delicate crystal goblets on a platter, and one would fall over and shatter, and all the others.
Right.
And that seems to be happening. Let's see, Joel Tilson. Cruise missiles from Ukraine have bombed numerous targets into Russia. Today.
Thank you, Joel, for bringing that.
Will Ukraine get Tomahawk missiles to get Russia to the peace table?
Chuck, my question to you, I think at the heart of, we're floating around it, but I think what people are asking, in the private discussions is, do the Russians have Epstein stuff? Like, why is he acquiescing so much to Russia? I think that's the elephant in the room. Like, if the data is we take out Putin, then why is this delayed? Why is this taking so long? Why is this guy defending him? Why is this guy letting it? We know how this ends. If you're looking at least amount of deaths, I didn't even have a side. I wasn't even picking sides, right or left, Republican, Democrat, East, West. I just said, how do we keep people from dying? And this is the, excuse me, what the computers came up with. And there's something I want to add to that. So, the computer said that I tried to get around it. Is there any way that we could avoid phase 4 and not take out Putin? And basically, I went to I did ChatGPT, I did Grok, I did Nomi, I used Nomi AI as well. But the conclusion was, no, you have to take out Putin because he is the most dangerous man alive right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
interesting that Grok said that.
Grok,
the most dangerous man.
According to Grok, the most dangerous man alive is not Donald Trump. It's Putin.
Putin. Yeah, it was something you addressed earlier in your statement. I long believe Putin has the Epstein files.
But that was confirmed by, that was confirmed by Nomi AI, by ChatGPT.
That was confirmed.
They all were, because he has access to nuclear weapons and no stopgap. Whereas we still have some stopgaps here in the United States, and we're not randomly invading our neighbors. As bad as it is with Trump, he's not Putin.
Yeah.
He'd like to be.
But it was being used as leverage against Trump for many years. Even before the Epstein files, remember the talk about the so-called PP tapes, very embarrassing videos. Trump being
so I guess that's really the question that I watch y'all. I listen. I hear you guys talk. I get every email. I read every email. And this was something that came up in a lot of the comments that you guys gave me is, the fact that Trump keeps going easy on Putin when the future for Putin is a jail cell.
Yeah.
I don't know. How are you feeling about that?
Well, Trump hasn't been going so easy on Putin as of late. He's changed his rhetoric quite a bit. And I think, as I've said before, I think Trump sees Putin as obsolete, which ironically is how people are starting to see Trump as well.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. So, Cruzman.
What are we asking, please?
Well, what does he say here?
Will Ukraine get Tomahawk missiles to get Russia to the peace table?
That's a yes, no, or one card.
Ukraine get Tomahawk missiles? Okay, that went to a yes pretty quick when I asked. I don't know if I should pull a card on that.
The answer is yes, but Trump is compromised 100% because the obstacle is the devil. To be chained, a codependent relationship or a cult.
That makes sense.
But the outcome is the 10 of Cups. So that tells me that I think we're going to have to go with the science, man. We're going to have to take Putin and put him behind bars or something. The data is the data, folks. I'm sorry. He's coming around the mountain. I mean, it's like he is number 3 and we're like in the middle of phase 2. He's going to be toast. And that's what I think. I don't think there's any way to save him because nothing is going to get in the way of the Abraham Accords. This is too much freaking money. When I was punching the numbers, I'm like, $1 trillion freaking dollars. What did I walk into? Can I get paid? I don't contribute to that. Can I get paid? So I understand the desire to get paid from the Abraham Accords because it's a money maker. There's a lot of investors. There's a lot of investors, but yeah. So when you have that kind of money, they'd sell their grandma. So of course, Putin is gone. Yeah. You can have $350 billion a year in your pocket and be terrorized by an unstable, or you could not have that money and continue to bury dead people and be terrorized by a lunatic threatening nuclear war. Which would you pick?
Which would I choose?
$350 billion in trade, or Putin terrorizing the neighborhood?
Yeah. That's interesting. You got 10 of Cups for that. I always think of that as a very
happy
positive
family.
card.
Very happy. It's the family coming together. And Ukraine is not together right now. They've got family at the war, family in exile. Yeah. Oh, that's a private question.
That's for you. Generally answer questions like that with your private salon. Saturdays on your private salon.
Yeah. Well, I think you're a member. Do you ever join the private salon?
I did. I didn't get my song. Queenie the Genie.
Oh, happy Chuck. Welcome, Chuck. Welcome, Chuck, to our membership, even though you're a co-producer. I don't know. It works.
So I don't get a tambourine.
Not exactly, no.
Okay. But I take that with all the spirit and heart that you
There you go.
And Queenie the Genie, you interrupted me. I was watching Annie Hall. This is interesting, though. I can finish what I was going to say, because remember in Annie Hall, the scene where they meet at the health food restaurant in Los Angeles?
Yes, the mashed yeast.
Well,
I'll take the sprouts and the mashed yeast.
That used to be a restaurant on the Sunset Strip, I can't talk, called The Source. And I used to go there all the time. They had the best whole wheat rolls I've ever had in my life. I loved that restaurant, but it was so exciting for me because this was several years after Annie Hall and I moved to LA. And I thought, this place looks familiar. Where have I seen this place? I can't put my finger on it. And then I saw Annie Hall on cable and it's like, I go there all the time. I love that restaurant. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. Eleanor Wittering, there was no violence in until ICE arrived.
True.
Yeah, true.
We have a serial killer that's killing prostitutes, but that's kind of we always have that in this neck of the woods. We've always got serial killers. It's kind of like Ted Bundy, the Fife rapist, the Green River killer. I mean, this is where they go. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but they love it here.
I never knew that about your fair city, Whimsy.
It's a West Coast thing. It's a Pacific Northwest Coast thing. It's just how things are over here.
Yeah. Well, Joel Tilson, this is a good question. What will stop Trump's authoritarian power play?
Don't you think eventually it's going to have to be his cabinet coming in? The only way they're going to turn on him is if J.D. Vance promises them a job. And it was J.D. Vance that was in Israel with Witcoff. And
I know.
Kushner.
I know.
And that's because Trump can't fly. He can't fly every 5 minutes. He's got cankles. He had to have his last flight approved, which is why he went to Walter Reed. Anybody with half a brain knows damn well he went to Walter Reed to get approved for that flight.
Right.
You don't let an 80 guy who's pushing 80 with those kinds of health concerns get on a plane until he's gone to his doctor and gotten a doctor's note. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
So he couldn't turn around and go again. So people are projecting the real reason he didn't go, and the real reason that J.D. Vance went is because there's only a certain number of flights he's allowed to take, and every time he flies, he goes to see the doctor, and that's why.
Yeah.
Got to check his blood thinners. They've got to check whether he's at risk for having a heart attack or a deep venous thrombosis when he flies.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you think it's also
very obvious?
Yeah, but do you think it was also part of paving the way for JD's own presidency? They're already grooming him, letting him take a more prominent role. There's a part of that. And
don't you think so? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something disturbing, and I promise I don't mean this to change the subject, but it does tie in. I'm sure everybody by now knows about that really disgusting meme Donald Trump posted the day of the No Kings rally, where he was in a plane wearing a crown on his head, and he was dropping feces on the crowd. Well, I saw today, I was reading something where there was a further meme where they showed J.D. Vance also wearing a crown, and the not so subtle message was that this authoritarian rule is going to continue after Trump is gone. Like they're paving the way for a permanent dictatorship, or like a king, so to speak, by showing JD wearing a crown also.
Right. And Elon Musk is endorsing, he's not going to start a third party. He's going to go with JD Vance and so if he's already endorsing JD Vance, that means that we can push things along a little bit. But it's ultimately up to Trump's cabinet. Is Trump's cabinet going to sell him out and toss him to the wind? Well, that's going to have to come with some opportunities from JD Vance. You're going to have to do a little something for me.
Yeah.
If you want me to sell Trump out and say he's unfit.
Yeah. But it looks like it's heading in that direction.
It does look like it's heading.
In many ways, I'm giving you an opportunity to do your Lindsey Graham impression, but yeah.
Mr. President, you can't stay. You gotta go. The duty has fallen on me to inform you that we have reached a consensus in the Senate. We give you the honor of resigning because you can't stay, Mr. President. You are a walking disaster. Yeah. So
I never get tired.
It's going to go down like that, something like that. It was a weird dream to have. I dreamed it. I was in the Oval Office and I was the fly on the wall watching Lindsey Graham. I don't want to be the person to have to tell you this. They're kind of making me talk to you because nobody in the Senate wants to talk to you right now.
You know, as a gifted intuitive, you get a lot of visions, and sometimes
horrifying.
They're horrifying. They're not good. But I was thinking one you talked about on the show like 2-3 months ago, where I think it was a dream where you saw Donald Trump naked, lying on a bed. And of course, it was about to emphasize how sick he was, how pale and bloated and ill he was. But I just thought, just the same, you saw Donald Trump naked in one of your visions.
Don't you think it's ultimately his mental illness that takes him out?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think the obvious
and all this imaging they're doing. Every quarter, they're doing imaging and psych exams, and his cabinet has a right to see all of it, and then say, you know what, we just don't have confidence in you anymore, Mr. President. It's time to go.
But I was just going to say, your dream, it was almost the metaphor for the emperor has no clothes.
Yes.
Yeah. Where everything is being exposed. I'm sure that's what was behind that. And
well, it's so interesting that we opened today with the release of Virginia
Giuffre. I think we're saying that right.
A book, Nobody's Child, because this is really the time.
I think it came out today.
Yeah. Everyone's being exposed.
Yeah.
Everybody that was on the island.
Right. Well, it's interesting that Prince Andrew's, the stripping of his titles happened just, 3-4 days before the publication of this book. So clearly King Charles knew. Sure, they'd gotten their advanced copies, It was bad. Yeah.
But it's also that you are entitled to go to orgies with children. If you look at testimonies from, what was her name? Anouk? I can't remember her name. I was just watching her. She's really committed to just people getting well. But she was a human trafficking victim. Does anybody know about this?
I'm trying to remember. It's like there have been so many victims, and we've talked about some of them on the show. I remember once we even played a video interview with one of them. I'm trying to remember her name now.
What was the name of her book? It was called, Elite.
I know she was interviewed by Katie Couric. I remember that.
Yeah, so Surviving the Pedophile Network. So she gave unfiltered stories, but she was Annika Lucas.
Yeah.
That is who it is. Well, Annika Lucas, she is one of the people that exposed the Belgian and German pedophile ring that involved aristocrats, and the aristocrats basically they felt that they were entitled, that your body was meat, that you were free meat to eat, right? So
that's so sad.
This was the interview actually over here, trained as a spy at age of 10. And her handler was David Rockefeller. David Rockefeller.
Yeah.
But she worked with the Intel. She worked with Interpol, and she did name names of many of the elite. But we'll go ahead and take a listen briefly to Annika Lucas. We won't listen to much of this, but this is just to give you a taste of some of what Prince Andrew was involved with. And it goes back and it begs the question, how does this type of aristocracy work, where people are raised to believe that we are not, when you fail to see the humanity in others, it's very easy to do these sorts of things, isn't it?
It is. It is.
My name is Annika Lucas, and I'm primarily identify myself as a survivor of child sex trafficking. I grew up in Belgium, and my family was quite normal from the outside. Father, mother, and 2 children, boy and girl. This was my stepfather. My mother actually had me when she was single. My stepfather was the mayor of the village. And so we were not poor. Growing up for me is in the first years, I had a caretaker, and my mother was single, and I was being brought to caretaker every day. I loved her, she loved me, and I was actually very outgoing as a toddler. This caregiver, being in Brussels, which is a bilingual town, was French speaking, so I actually started speaking French, not Flemish. Even though I was being abused by my mother at the time, I was also very outgoing, very bossy, little girl.
So what happened was that she gets taken into this rink, and she witnesses everything from child rape to child murder and human sacrifice.
Oh my God.
And things. And what's horrifying is that she's an informant. She can prove it. She's worked with Interpol, and this horror, these are things you used to believe this can't be true. It's just a conspiracy theory. But now Virginia Gaufrey, all these other victims are coming out, and the horrible, awful truth that has always been with people in positions of power. This is precisely who they think we are. We are not people. Yeah. We are toys and playthings.
Yeah.
We got a feeling about that?
Well, we've known for quite a while there was no way to keep a lid on this. Well, I mean, when you ask my feelings on this, it's repugnant. It's vile. I've said this before on the show. When you harm an innocent child like that, you are scarring them for the rest of their life. It's just the worst thing you can possibly do. It's beyond repugnant and disgusting. But as far as this all coming forward, I think we've known this for quite a while. I mean, as much as people like our very own government, like Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, people like that trying to keep this suppressed, you can't push the lid on it. It's coming out. It's too many people around the world have information. And also, we were talking about this last week. There are a lot of big names besides Donald Trump,
which is why they don't want it released. It's not just Trump that's getting exposed.
Because there was a comment here. April Adams said, referring to Virginia Giuffre, she doesn't name Trump though, but pretty much accused Tony Blair of rape. Now, I have not seen that anywhere.
Thank you. That explains so much, because I wrote Tony Blair asking him to pay me for my research, and instead he took my research and called the AA, and they made him the mayor of Gaza. So when I saw that, I was just like, well, now hold up there. Wait a minute now. So Tony, so she's who
well, this was April Adams who said this in the comments. She left that comment at 5:59 p.m. And I hadn't heard that. When I was looking this up before we did our show today, I was like an hour beforehand. I was just focusing on Prince Andrew, and I didn't see any pieces about other big names involved. Tony Blair, that is huge.
See, you know what? One of the things that Anouk says in her interviews is she says that, excuse me, she no longer has icons because of what she saw people doing, of the people she saw doing it. Like she said, famous actresses that, are icons in Hollywood that are, one of them is still alive in their 90s. So of course, how many are still alive in their 90s? So I've got to think on that. My first thought was, who was that person? Who would be the most likely to be into free sex and love and be a famous actress? My first thought was Shirley MacLaine, which was in an open relationship.
You're right.
And her daughter was in school in Switzerland.
I read her daughter's book. Yeah, she didn't divorce her husband for many years, but she had many, many relationships, and many times in front of the daughter.
Right. As you can see, Tony Blair did not pay me for my hours, but he did contact the necessary people, and they hired him to be the new transitional mayor of Gaza. So here is the actual original letter dated March 2nd, 2025, asking him to get involved. Never got paid, but he got a job.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So this goes back to what Anouk said, which is that no more idols.
No more idols. Didn't you say that?
Shirley MacLaine, but she said, no, this is a beloved actress in her 80s and 90s.
Oh.
I don't think it would be Jane Fonda because she's too conservative and Christian.
No.
She wouldn't be caught dead with her clothes. She's so insecure about her body. The lights have to be out. I mean, it's like she's been very open.
She's not the only one.
She's a very insecure person. I mean, God bless Jane Fonda.
I met her once.
She's not it. The least likely person to be a narcissist would be Jane Fonda.
Really? Yeah, I met her once. I think she
doesn't have a narcissistic bone in her body. She is the most insecure, vulnerable. She's very sweet.
Yeah, she is.
Once you get past her, kind of, but she's just a really good person. So I don't think it would be Jane Fonda, but you think about somebody wild and wicked, maybe Shirley MacLaine. Well, I don't think it would be Julie Andrews.
No, not Mary Poppins. No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make a joke.
But she won't name names, so I don't know if we'll ever know.
Oh, Julie Andrews. No.
I don't think it's going to be Julie.
I want to be very careful in my language here, and you do too. But it would.
I don't think it would be Sophia. I don't think it was Sophia Loren.
Oh my God, that's right. Because Sophia is like
no way with her husband. Her husband had her under lock. She was practically in a burqa.
But
that was a very strict marriage.
Free-spirited Shirley MacLaine. I don't know. I don't want to say.
I don't want to say, but that was.
I don't want to say it either because
you got to kind of wonder. Okay, let's look at how this power play will end. Let's throw some.
Well, I think we already know how it's going to end. I think, as you did your Lindsey Graham impression. But what are we going to ask? What will stop Trump's authoritarian power play?
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I have the right kind of cards to really answer that, but I'm certainly getting cards showing the despair. Okay, well, no, my last card is kind of interesting here. I'm getting things that pretty much describe just the dark side of what's going on here. There's a lot of denial, a lot of despair. Obviously, a lot of decisions are being made right now, a lot of risk, and it's around survival and ultimate new beginnings. But my last card that fell out, and this is where I stopped, compromise, like a handshaking, a lot of behind the scenes agreements that are going to be worked out. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
what we've already talked about.
The main thing I got is that America is going to be okay. We're going to pull ourselves out of this. All nations have go through these kinds of things. But Six of Swords is very auspicious. It means smoother waters for many years to come, a sword being a year.
Yeah.
Then the other thing that came up, it was compromise, which was you
got
reaching across the and the weapons of war will be taken away from our adversaries, taking the leap of faith forward. The cards are really optimistic. So he will play out his hand. And look, remember when everybody thought McCarthy was going to take over the world?
Oh, sure.
Senator McCarthy, look what happened.
Almost brought down Lucille Ball.
Yeah, exactly. So and that was kind of the beginning of the end, was when he started accusing everybody. And so in a way, the cards are basically how I would interpret the cards. They're saying that this time of Trump will play itself out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm thinking back to the days when we used to work together here in Los Angeles, and you were telling me about an intuitive reading you did or a dream you had. I think it was George Washington, or it was one of the founding fathers who spoke to you and said, basically, don't worry. Trump is just a really bad president. We've had bad presidents. We will survive Trump too. Well, he's obviously, in my opinion, the worst of the worst of the worst. But this founding father, I forget who it was, maybe you remember, said basically we will survive him and we will prosper and we will go on.
I think it was Washington.
I think it was too.
Yeah. So what do you think future relationship between military and Trump? Do you think they'll put a stop to him?
That is a really good question, because I was thinking about the very fact that the military, their job is to defend the Constitution, not the president. I think it's even, there's something where they have it all planned out already for a long time, that if we ever were to have a dictator take over the presidency or something, the military's job would be to remove that. Now, whether they will actually do that, that's a good question right now. Let me see. Will the military take out Donald Trump? I'm kind of getting that kind of feeling like Trump's going to be taken out by other means, more like what you've said, the 25th Amendment, the cabinet. I think the military is not going to have to. That's what I'm feeling. But if it went on long enough, ultimately they would.
Presidency. Interesting that somebody's at war with him. He has the King of Wands at him. Final outcome is the United States has a magician card coming into our own power. In a weird sort of way, you could argue that this is good for us, because it forced us to have to see the ugly stuff that was always there. Think about all the reports over the years of abuse taking place, and we all thought that it was just a conspiracy theory. Nobody wanted to admit that this stuff was real. And now we have all of this is coming to light. So, it's interesting also that all of the alien information is starting to come out, the UFOs. We can't hide anything, including like Project Blue Book, and the fact that now they have people in high positions of power in the Pentagon saying something is happening on Earth and we don't know what it is. There's something surveilling us and we don't know what this is. So we have reached a point in our evolution as human beings where we now have the data and the ability to engage in surveillance like we never did before. And that means all the dirty secrets are coming out. Everybody has an iPhone. So everybody's filming these crazy saucers that are flying around.
Sure.
And it's like, what the hell is happening? So we should not be comfortable or complacent with any of our belief systems, because we've been lied to so much. Not when it comes to who and what our government is, who is in power and what their secrets are, or what's even happening on this earth. I mean, you see some of this UFO Pentagon Some of it's taking place privately behind closed doors. Some of it's happening publicly in the house, but it seems to be the same thing. It's as if we have now reached a point in our technology where even the aliens can't hide from us. So weird that these two things are happening at the same time.
I'm thinking also it's easier and easier to hack into computers and into systems. I mean, my God, the fact that Elon Musk and some college kids could go in and get all of our social security information, all of our records. It's hard to contain this. And I don't think we have the safeguards to protect things. Things are too antiquated. Trump said today that the American taxpayers owe him millions of dollars. I heard it was like 230 million because he had to go to court and battle the nation. Yeah, I saw that. It would be 230 million of our taxpayer dollars going to him. And all I could think of when I saw that in the news today, you damn grifter, you con artist, you're just in to cash in on the presidency any way you can. And also, he's demanding this from the Department of Justice. And what's interesting, that a lot of the Department of Justice is comprised of his own personal lawyers. So, yeah. I don't know, Whimsy, do you think he's going to get the money?
No, I think he's insane. We just steal from us because we're nothing but peasants, rape our kids.
Yeah.
Like this fruitcake in Britain, this perverted prince, drag them all out. It's time for another revolution, man. I mean, like, this is the fall of Versailles all over again. It's happening here in the United States. It's happening in Britain, and it's necessary. This is the one thing about Prince William that he kept from his mother, which is, you're no better than anybody else. You're just in an unusual situation.
Yeah. And
that was what she said over and over and over again. You're no better than anybody else. You're just you have a great opportunity, but you're not better. It was interesting. She went to, there was a waiter that was helping Princess Diana when she was with her boys, and the waiter came and said, well, let me tell you what the specials are. And Harry said, are they special because we're royalty? And Princess Diana said, I'm going to give you a royal smack right about now.
Good for Diana.
And what he took from that, from those experiences, that over and over again, you are not better. You are not, but you are privileged and you have an opportunity to do something of meaning here. So I did, even though I don't always see eye to eye with Prince William, I did appreciate and respect the fact that he was like, somebody like this doesn't need to be getting money from the people and representing the family. So I'm glad that stance was taken. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Well, I was just while you were talking about Diana, I was thinking about how she used to take her boys late at night to like soup kitchens and homeless shelters to volunteer from the time they were little boys. She was already teaching them.
She didn't always have money. This is the other thing that she wanted people to understand is she had a little bit of money. She had an apartment that she inherited from her mom, but she didn't have any money.
Nice apartment.
It was a nice apartment, but her dad gave her no money. So she was not treated very well by her father. He was a little bit strict with her, and he was not very nice to women. His first wife felt abused and left, and she was she grew up pretty neglected, but she had this apartment, and because I don't have any money, I got an apartment. So what she did was she rented out the rooms
and roommates
to her roommates. So then she had cash, and then she still had to go out and get a job. And so she was a nanny, and also she was when she wasn't doing that, she was the housekeeper.
That's what it was.
She was also taking care of people in their homes. Children in their homes. So she didn't have money. She had an apartment, but her father gave her something like the equivalent of 200 pounds a month. That was like what? A couple of some chocolates and a haircut. I mean, that was pretty much what that covered. But so she had this awareness that I think that there was a sensibility there that somebody born a royal wouldn't have had.
Definitely. I saw that apartment once. I don't know. Do you know the Earl's Court section of London?
I've actually been in the building. I've been in the building. I had a job. I was posing for a very famous portrait artist.
Oh yeah.
Who actually painted Princess Diana.
I know.
Oh, you know my story about Zohar.
Oh, I know your story. You should tell it and not me. But
anyway, so the royal portrait artist
said about you.
Yeah. For Princess Diana, but one of his students was in the Earl Court, so I used to go there and I would pose, eat grapes or whatever, and then the students would sketch me in the Earl Courts or whatever it was.
But you told me that Diana.
I always felt nervous going in because the security and everything. I didn't really like going in because you really do feel inferior just being there. Well, I'm a little poor, little nobody. I mean, it's just such a classist society.
Yeah, but you told me that Diana
was nice. Princess Diana
saw your portraits.
She thought I was very pretty,
yes,
and she said that I had perfect titties.
That's
I see that Whimsy has perfect titties.
Actually,
back then I did maybe.
You told me. She said, "Oh, she has pretty titties." That's how you put it to me.
Oh, perfect. No, what she said to the portrait artist is like, "Oh, I see you're used to working with the ladies who have perfect titties," something like that.
But I did.
She called them titties.
I did see the apartment building during the daytime, and I purposely went back there at night because when people, not that I'm a peeping Tom, but the lights were on, and I wanted to see the inside, and it was quite grand what I saw in there.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I the one that I worked in, which I think was below hers, it was 2-3 rooms, but yeah, it was pretty grand.
It was pretty grand. And I had a tour guide tell me that we went around to the back of the building, and they showed the garbage chute, the dumpster underneath a window, and they said that Diana, to get away from the press, would go to that window, jump into the garbage chute, and then sneak off that way, so she wouldn't have to face the paparazzi.
Sounds like something. Sounds like something.
She would
do. All right, so we did the ballroom. Okay, let's do a couple more and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
What do you think? Please go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that about the corporations, and of course the way Trump put it, quote unquote, patriots are paying for the ballroom. But didn't you say a few weeks ago that it was written into the big, beautiful bill? There was actually provision set aside for the ballroom, or was that maybe something found to be incorrect later on?
Well, it would have had to have been the case. Otherwise, how would they have done it? But maybe it'll be something we can be proud of in the future, that we will have this beautiful place. But this is what happens, Mr. President, when you cut taxes and the wealthy don't pay their taxes and they take their money to the Cayman Islands. Government things begin to collapse. Our schools begin to look like prisons, and they're covered with all kinds of graffiti, and the food the children are eating is trash. I mean, this is what happens when you don't want to pay, when the wealthiest 1% don't want to pay their taxes. And why in God's name we're giving them a choice is anybody's guess. Why are these little aristocrats that think that they're too good to pay the taxes that the rest of us have to pay? I know
it's tragic. That is such a loaded question, Joel. How will history think of Trump in the future? Where do we start with that one, Whimsy?
Well, I think that, he's not going to be Hitler. I mean, he didn't kill 20 million people or whatever.
No.
So I don't know how I feel about it.
Certainly.
Because history is tricky. He did get them to sign the beginnings of the Abraham Accords, that there would be open trade and no war between Israel and all of these.
Yeah.
The Abraham Accords is huge. It's a massive trade route. And if they can pull that off, that might be he's right. That might be the thing that saves them from going to hell or wherever, because it is ultimately something yes, it is a moneymaker, but I can tell you as an Israeli, and I'm moving back to Israel, this is a place that I'll probably die in Israel, to be honest. So we want peace. So if you got to pay people not to kill you, so be it. So
I'm just thinking of all of the many atrocities this man has committed. I mean, and going back to the days when he was one of the most one of the most notorious slumlords in all of New York City in the 1980s. The man just has such a history of evil. I'm wondering how history is going to treat him. You know, I think of Patricia Clark. No, I'm sorry, Patricia. Heather. Why am I blanking on
Heather Cox Richardson?
Thank you, Heather Cox Richardson. God, of all the people to blank out on. By the way, Heather was talking about this on one of her shows where she said she blanked out in the middle of a live interview. And I thought, Heather, if you blank out, I don't feel so bad when I do it. Sometimes we just get those brain farts. But that's what Heather has been doing with all of her daily columns. It's meant, each day is meant like a page in a history book. She's recording this history in meticulous detail so it can be around like 150, 200, 300 years from now. So scholars can look at the Trump administration.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Epstein files, any predictions of when or how it's going to get released? You got any predictions on that for the audience?
Any predictions? Because it feels like it's all trickling out now. You know, like with Virginia Jeffrey's book, things like that. It's trickling out. You can't put a lid on this. But as far as you mean it being formally released?
I just think this is the time of discovery. I mean, it's a wonderful time to be alive. And at the same time, you and I, all of us, grew up with lies, whether we liked it or not.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up with ideas about that. I don't know about you, but I grew up on the Brady Bunch.
Me too.
And so I was taught that, you know, the world is fair and justice and no person is above the law. And sorry, I gotta eat this. I'm doing something over here.
Yeah.
And so this has been really hard for me psychologically because it's like, well, that's not fair. That's not right. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But he stole and he hurt that child, and that's not. And it's really doing a number on me psychologically because this is not the happy little world I grew up in. In the world I grew up in, eventually you'll get yours, but that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing horrible, rotten people getting away with all kinds of things and getting reelected, and they're sitting in the White House, putting a wrecking ball to our beautiful White House.
I know that's been disturbing for many, including myself, to just watch Trump get away with seemingly everything. It's like nothing brings that man down. Hopefully those days are coming to an end, but we've had to watch this for years now.
Yeah, and special shout out to our very own Chaos Moogle as we waltz out of this 10th episode of season 4 of Taco Tuesdays. We are reminded of the interesting research that Chaos Moogle is doing. He's, of course, a film editor. Is he in Florida or is he in I think he's in California.
I'm not sure.
And he's actually spoken at hearings trying to get release of certain things, but he says a lot of this stuff is authentic. He's authenticated it. Let's take a look at some of the recent stuff. To have your own government say under oath, we have no idea who the hell this is. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's no known government. And to say that under oath, it makes me feel as if the entire matrix is crashing in on us. I don't know. What do you think?
The entire matrix is crashing down on us. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Forces refuse access to a broad crash retrieval program. These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human.
UFOs are a strange anomaly that's captivated us since the dawn of time. What are these things in the sky? More and more we ask these questions, and more it seems our government tries to hide them. They use the guise of disclosure and Freedom of Information Act to give us breadcrumbs, but never actually give us answers. So I love when full, real UFO videos of anomalies that even the government and military can't figure out leak out to the public, and I have one of those for you today. So today I'm going to showcase to you the full 8.5-minute clip of this strange, multicolored UFO orbs that were seen hovering over a military base in Afghanistan. What's stranger still is that these UFOs were shot with missiles. and nothing happened to them. Now, when originally introduced into the zeitgeist, there was only the black and white clip, and it was very short, leading to comments and people believing that these were just training targets for a training exercise. However, in this full clip, you're not just going to see the flare, you're going to actually see the actual video and see that these objects are actually multicolored, iridescent orbs of light that are shot at, and nothing happens to them. They're not training targets. They're anomalies. So y'all smash like and get ready for a wild ride. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What is this?
God.
What are we looking at? That's what I want to know. Like, what has happened to our planet? What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
It's not China and it's not Russia.
Right.
But we can't shoot them down. That's what's so terrifying.
Yeah. I find it interesting that governments around the world are trying so hard to suppress this. Why?
What are they dropping? They're also dropping some kind of substance on the earth.
Are they?
Yeah. This is the latest stuff that's free. Look at that. There's something being dropped on our planet. Our military has tried to shoot this down. We don't know what they are. We don't know where they're
shot down. That's interesting.
Yes, and we don't know what they're dumping. So the question is, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
You know, I open that to the floor. This is our little, we always try to do a little, if we have time, we try to do something a little fun at the end of the show. But I just, that film footage freaked me out. And like, what the hell are they dumping on us? And who are they? And where do they come from? And it's not China. Like, who would want to be going to Afghanistan? It's a hellhole. Sorry, but it is. For women, for... Yeah. After the war.
I'm thinking this would be a good heart-centered remote viewing for you to do in the future.
I'm afraid of what I'll find out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, we'll leave it for the audience to ponder what it is, what it all means.
Do you think there's any?
Not fake. That was confirmed and released by. No, it's not fake. It was released by U.S. intelligence.
That's what I was going to ask you. Well, even there, could it have been faked by U.S. intelligence?
No.
You don't feel that way.
No, because there have been excuse me, there have been other people filming the same exact UFOs dumping stuff. We don't know what they're dumping.
Yeah.
We don't know what the hell is happening.
I mean,
we don't know what's happening on our planet. We don't know all these weird alien species and stuff. I used to not believe in this stuff, but now credible people are saying, I used to not believe in this, I'll tell you, but I'm also someone who believes in science and data. And when you have people like Avi Loeb out of Harvard, who's now saying it's real, you have a lot of physicists saying this is real. But many people don't feel they're aliens. They feel that they are beings that have been on Earth for a very long time, may have even evolved here because they have humanoid features and they've just been cloaking and hiding.
Well, we've talked about that a number of times, but certainly nothing as sophisticated as this, where they've got flying aircraft and they can actually drop things. It's been more like creatures living in caves and living off of spirulina and blue-green algae and that type of
peace, love, and harmony.
Are they stealing strawberries in Nevada? That type of thing.
Right, the strawberry thieves.
Yeah.
The phenomenon of stealing fruit. Kumquats, but you know what? Kumquats are orange, and same thing happened to a friend of mine. The missing was it kumquats? Not kumquats. The orange fruit. I can't remember. Persimmons. Yeah, but it's usually red. You're right. That the phenomenon reported of missing fruit has come from more than one eyewitness, which led to a huge conversation about whether or not they're able to consume. Well, if they come from here, they would have no problem consuming human food because they come from here. And if they're coming from caves or something like that, and they're living predominantly on algae and swamp, then I think that a strawberry would be like ice cream to them. It would be like heaven on earth.
Well, I had told you, because of all these reds, we know there are specific phytonutrients to
but
things like in reds, and I was wondering if that's what they were drawn to.
Yes, but also different species of aliens were found taking stuff. The woman that had her watermelon patch stolen, that was an alien that looked totally different than the Greys. But then you have the phenomenon of lights over certain crops like cherry fields and stuff, and then having everything stripped. So then one theory was that they were using it as biofuel, but that just sounds like bull crap. I don't think this is biofuel. I think that they're harvesting and consuming it.
Makes sense.
Which makes sense, because if they're a carbon-based life, it's not complicated. If they're a carbon-based life form, they're going to be wanting to consume things that can produce glucose, which would suggest that they come from here, or that they have some genetic relationship to life here on Earth. They're bipedal, they have 2 eyes, etc. Do you have anything you want?
Well, I just think it's still intriguing that they have this level of sophistication where they've got flying crafts.
Why can't they just grow their own cherries?
That's a good question.
Can't you grow them underground with grow lights? I mean, like, why do they have to steal our cherries?
I don't know. But I mean, watching that footage, and since it apparently is authentic, I was just thinking, has this been going on for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years?
That's the conversation,
this is nothing
right?
new. Yeah. And I don't know. Could they be dropping nutrients into the soil?
We had a couple people here commenting that they had their crops stolen. Corn crops have been stolen. Corn can be used as fuel.
Yeah.
Corn crops were the first where they saw massive theft. Was corn crops, strawberries, cherries, a watermelon field. Somebody reported persimmons, trees with persimmons, this phenomenon of them appearing, whether it's for biofuel or consumption or something. But anytime you have these kinds of weird contacts between whatever, that's another reason why it's not China. China is not invading us to steal strawberries. Doesn't make any sense. So you have these weird little phenomenon. And then you have people that were in Area 51 that said, no, we just made them green smoothies. We just give them green smoothies and they in a straw, and they're like, wow, that's very satisfying. So like there are actually people in Area 51 that claim that this was something that they captured one, and we don't know what to feed it, and they made it a green smoothie. So it's little, is it just... And if this has happened to you, go ahead and share it. If you're one of the farmers that had this phenomenon happen to you, we had one woman, her entire cherry trees the same thing happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just one of those weird things that has come up on the show, and I really want to know what it is. My theory is that they're eating it.
Yeah. Well, one of the consistent things that I forget how we've come up with this, but we've talked about it a number of times, but we've pretty much determined they're benign beings. They're not harmful.
Except, well, a lot of people feel that they were raped by these medical procedures, and that one woman that was interviewed said they don't have a concept of rape. They don't think that this is a problem.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, we're going to do this medical procedure, and you're going to like it? I don't know. Like, do I have an opinion about this? I don't know. All right. Did you have fun, Chuck?
I had fun.
Any announcements you'd like to make before we close today?
I was just going to say, yeah, I had fun because I have fun visiting with you twice a week and all of you wonderful people out there. But yes, as always, you can reach me, Dransfield Chuck. Just reverse my name, one word, dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. I love doing readings for people. I love doing artwork for people. I can do portraits where I can read into the energy of the subject. I just recently did a wonderful lady's cat and even had a message for her and did a full canvas painting.
I love that.
And I have a lot of videos about old Hollywood on my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles. And I'm
trying to get him to turn it more into a mediumship thing, but he doesn't want to do that.
Well, no, I will. I'll get around to it. But we're
going to have a message from Spirit this Thursday for our Thursday,
right now. Yeah,
our Thursday happy hour show.
It's
all happy hour. It's Taco Tuesdays and Happy Hour Thursdays.
You know who wants to come through? And I'm working on a message right now. Remember, I read a message from Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis 2 or 3 months ago. I'm feeling her wanting to come through again, but this time she wants to be a little more personal, like she is with me, because I told you she's very motherly. She gives me a lot of personal advice. That statement I read on the show here, it's because I asked her, do you have a public statement? And that's what I've noticed. Many times they will change their stance and they become more formal.
Right.
It's like they're giving a speech.
Yeah.
And I'm sensing something a little more personal is wanting to come in for all of you.
Is this with Jackie? Is this with
Jackie?
Oh, wonderful. We love her.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. Some of it has come in and I'm trying to get more, but she wants to talk to people about self-esteem and self-worth, because that's so important. You know, the message of us all finding our own personal brilliance, our own personal purpose, but it comes down to self-worth and self-esteem. And one of the surprising things about Jackie is how insecure she actually was. When she became First Lady, she even said, I thought I was a dud. She was actually quoted saying that in private. And look how magnificent she was. And I'm sensing she wants a similar message to just say to you, look, everybody has a brilliance you maybe are not aware of. You're not tapping into.
Yeah,
so I'm working on it.
Yeah.
It may be just a short message. I don't know what it's going to be about. I'm working on that to have it for Thursday.
Oh, I look forward to that. Yeah. All right, everyone. If you're trying to reach me, you can reach me through Booksy Pro. Just Google Dr. Whimsy Anderson bookings. It's real easy. Booksy Pro is how I take my clients. Just do that. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. We're out of here.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.